What rod and reel combo for beginners and why? Let's start with what you don't want to get. Bait casters. Bait casters have a large learning curve. If you don't get them right, they backlash. The spool keeps spinning and the line keeps coming out. Not fun. It takes a while to get those down. So let's just X out bait casters. What's the other option? Fly reels, fly fishing. Fly fishing has an even bigger learning curve than bait casting. It took me an entire year to catch my first redfish on the fly after practicing every day in my yard. It's like taking up golf or traditional archery. It takes a lot of form and a lot of practice. So let's go ahead and just X out fly fishing for starting as a beginner 101. What does that leave? Spinning combo. This is what we want to start with. And what size? We want to start with a 3,000 size reel, or some companies call it 300, which is kind of a mid-size, not too small, not too big. It would be just fine for cold water trout, maybe some light catfish action, perfect size for bass fishing, and perfect for inshore saltwater. Why do we want to start with a spinning setup? Because it's very simple and very easy. I teach a lot on how to cast. Even children pick a spinning rod up very quickly. What do we need to know? Let's start with the parts. The first part is the bail. That's this guy here. You flip it. The second part is the drag. We'll get to that in a minute, but you generally turn it right here. And the third thing is the crank. This is what you wind the fish in with. The first thing we got to do is set our drag to some kind of a default mode, which for me is to where you can pull a little bit of line out, not real fast, not real easy, but not just dead stop. So right here, I'm tugging. Nothing's coming out. That's not where we want to start. Back it off a little bit. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, right? All right, so that's kind of a little bit hard to pull out, but yet it comes out. That way, when you hang a fish, he'll take drag and you can tire him out with the drag. You're not going to break your line. So that's a good place to start. Kind of tight, but the line comes out. Don't want it to be cranked tight, righty-tighty, to where when the fish is pulling, it's just pow! That's how you pop your line. And you don't want it way too loose, so the fish just takes all the line off the spool. No. We want it kind of semi-tight to where it's just a little bit hard to get it off the spool. Right about there. And that's your default. That's your place to start, whether we're after catfish, bass, or redfish. How do we begin to cast? Number one is, how do we hold a spinning rod? When I'm teaching folks, you'll see a lot of folks grab the rod way far rear, which causes the rod to tip forward because it's just too front heavy. What we want is what I call the Vulcan grip. You want to put that rod in between these fingers like this with your thumb on top, and that's just an amazing balance place to start. So now we've got our Vulcan grip. So now we need to take our left hand, if you're right-handed, and we're going to spin this around to get this part of the bail with the line on it directly under your index finger. You grab the line with the tip of your right hand, flip your bail. Now I see a big mistake a lot of people make is they'll put that line in the crook of their finger. That makes it snap off your finger very roughly and makes for a horrible cast. What we want to do, rotate it around, we want to grab with the fingertip. Now the weight of the lure is on my fingertip and I can feel it, and when I get ready to shoot the line, it just pops right off. Very smoothly. Once again, rotate around, fingertip, cast, pops right off. Don't put it in the crook of your finger.